British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Good afternoon. My name is Vivek Nakra, and here are your news updates to 1:30 p.m. Vancouver Fashion Week preparations are well underway in many fashion houses in the Lower Mainland. The show is more than a celebration for the women presenting as part of enterprising women making art or EMA. Reporter Grace Miller has more on the experience of EMA's business owners at Vancouver Fashion Week.
The women-owned businesses of UMA are gearing up to showcase their work in Vancouver Fashion Week. Part of Atira's Women's Resource Society, UMA works to help women facing violence, poverty, and mental health struggles become more financially independent. This annual event offers a unique opportunity for these women to gain exposure, as it is the second largest fashion show in North America. Atira x UMA have been part of Vancouver Fashion Week since 2015. Their show is on the fourth day of Fashion Week on October 25th. For BCIT's The Crow, I'm Grace Miller.
A woman was attacked by a man while she was walking near the cruise ship terminal at Canada Place. Vancouver police say that the 30-year-old man has been charged with aggravated assault and remains in custody after the unprovoked attack. The woman was left with injuries and required treatment in hospital after attacker repeatedly punched and kicked her in the face. The police arrested him at a residential building near East Pender and Columbia Streets in Vancouver's downtown Eastside neighborhood. Online court record shows that a man with the same name has previously been charged and found guilty of assault causing bodily harm in June 2022 and October and November 2023. BCIT is organizing an immersive walk through Gishon Creek. The main motive is to connect people to the nature and tell the importance of nature to the attendees. Forest therapy is the practice of surrounding oneself in the nature. This walk is to discover the healing power of forest as you connect with the nature world and leave feeling refreshed. This event will start at 2 p.m. in Burnaby Campus and will go until 6 p.m. There is a limit of maximum 24 participants per walk due to limited space. The 2025 BC Sports Hall of Fame class was announced today. Reporter Keenan Tregascus has the details on what this induction means for athletes.
Sticking to the same format, the Hall of Fame inducted 5 athletes, 3 coaches or builders, a team, a sports pioneer, a broadcaster, and WAC award winner. Among the 5 athletes inducted into the Hall of Fame today was Nathan Hirayama, a former rugby player. Hirayama admits he did not expect to be inducted this year.
Oh man, it's a huge honor to be inducted. I was shocked when I got the call a few weeks ago. And yeah, it's a really proud moment for me and my family. Hopefully the rugby community. I know there's a lot of the guys I really looked up to growing up are in this Hall of Fame, so it's just a huge honor to be included with those guys.
Hirayama was also the flag bearer for Canada at the 2020 Olympic Games in Tokyo. Keenan Tregascus, BCIT's The Crow.
Now we are joined by our reporter Keenan Tregascus in the studio. Keenan, what else should we know about Hirayama?
So Hirayama played both the fly half and fullback positions in his rugby sevens career, and he debuted almost 2 decades ago in 2006 when he was 18 years old. And looking back at his career after the 2020 season, he became 3rd all-time in point scorer in World Rugby Sevens and leads Canada in both tries and matches played.
Interesting. Keenan, who else was inducted today?
So Christine Sinclair was also inducted, who is commonly known as one of the best Canadian soccer players ever. She's also been a 14-time Canada Soccer Player of the Year award winner, and she's playing out her final year as a professional soccer player today. Ray Ferraro was also inducted, an 18-year NHL career, and he's also been an on-air analyst for NHL broadcasts as well. And the 2000 BC Lions team was inducted. In the year 2000, they became the first team to ever win the Grey Cup after having a losing record in the regular season. And Jim Hewson was also inducted, among other people. Hewson has 40-plus years of broadcast experience in the hockey world and 16 years straight with Hockey Night in Canada, and his final 13 years, he was the host of Hockey Night in Canada and called all the Stanley Cup finals during that time.
Thanks, Keenan. Leaders of British Columbia's main political parties have converged on Vancouver Island. They are holding campaigns on the last day of advance voting before the provincial election on Saturday. According to Election BC, more than 181,000 people have voted on Tuesday, breaking a record set on the first day of voting last week. They also says that a record of 778,000 people have already cast their ballots. NDP leader David Eby and BC Conservative leader John Rustad both have announcements scheduled in Nanaimo, while both of Green's two current seats are on the island. In an effort to strengthen the protection of Canada's fresh water, the Canadian government has announced the creation of Canadian Water Agency. Our reporter Ethan Vandop has the latest on some of the duties of the new agency.
Fresh water is one of Canada's most precious natural resources, with 7% of the world's fresh water supply located in Canada, which is why ensuring its protection is an important issue to Canadians, according to the new Canadian Water Agency. Some of the agency's responsibilities include strengthening freshwater management, working closely with partners to deliver major elements of the Freshwater Action Plan, and leading the development of a national freshwater data strategy. 8 bodies of water of national significance will receive funding from the agency, including the Fraser River and Lake Winnipeg, one of the world's largest bodies of freshwater. Ethan Vandop, BCIT's The Crow.
Canada's border agency has recovered 2,000 stolen vehicles this year. Naira Ahmed from Canadian Press has more on what plans are being made to address the record rate of vehicle thefts.
Transport Minister Anita Anand says the majority were found in Quebec, as many stolen vehicles are being routed from there in Ontario through the Port of Montreal and then shipped overseas. Earlier this year, the federal government launched an action plan involving local and international police agencies and vehicle manufacturers to address the record rates of vehicle thefts. Year over year, the Insurance Bureau of Canada says claims for stolen vehicles are down 19%, although earlier this month it reported the issue is trending significantly above historic averages. Naira Ahmed, The Canadian Press.
The Canada Revenue Agency terminated 330 employees for inappropriately receiving the Canada Emergency Response Benefit during the pandemic. An internal interview was launched for employees who received CERB despite being ineligible for the benefit. This benefit, known as CERB, provided $2,000 to Canadians whose jobs were lost as a result of public health restrictions. According to CRA, employees who inappropriately received CERB are required to pay back the benefits. Air India passengers have landed in Chicago after being diverted to Nunavut due to a bomb threat yesterday. Rob Westgate from Canadian Press has more on airline's update.
The airline issued the update overnight via social media, thanking the Royal Canadian Air Force for helping ferry the 211 passengers of Flight 127 to their final destination. Since Iqaluit is not equipped to house that many unexpected guests, Ottawa gave the green light to utilize military resources to help the waylaid travelers. The flight from New Delhi was diverted early Tuesday morning as a precautionary measure. As for the bomb threat, well, Air India says it and other airlines have been subject to a number of threats recently, which were later found to be hoaxes. Rob Westgate, The Canadian Press.
A man has been arrested for animal cruelty for abandoning his dog in floodwaters along highway in Florida. The 23-year-old man was charged with felony aggravated animal cruelty yesterday. A case docket had not been posted online, so it was known if he had an attorney. The dog, nicknamed Trooper by the Florida Highway Patrol, was found alive last Wednesday in floodwaters up to his chest along Interstate 75 in the Tampa area. A former Las Vegas area Democratic official is sentenced for killing a journalist. Mike Hampton tells more about his imprisonment.
A judge has sentenced Robert Tellis to 28 years in Nevada State Prison for killing an investigative journalist who wrote articles critical of Tellis's conduct in office and exposed an intimate relationship with a female co-worker. Tellis was found guilty of murder in the death of Las Vegas Review-Journal reporter Jeff Gearman. Tellis denied stabbing Gearman to death in September 2022, but the evidence against him was strong, including his DNA beneath Gearman's fingernails. At the time, Tellis was the elected administrator of a county office that handles unclaimed estate and probate property cases. Tellis's defense attorney says his client plans to appeal his conviction. I'm Mike Hempen.
Weather today is cloudy with a temperature of 18 degrees Celsius. That was your news updates to 1:30 p.m. My name is Vivek Nakra and thanks for listening to BCIT's The Crew.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikki-King.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretnero.
And I'm Radhika Sikki-King. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
Good afternoon, sports fans. I'm Filip Kovacevic with your sports headlines for 1:45. Nikita Kucherov landed his fourth goal of the season, where Tampa Bay Lightning defeated the Vancouver Canucks 4-1. In their hurricane-delayed home opener, Lightning center Braden Point had this to say about new line mate Jake Guentzel. BCIT obtained the audio from the Associated Press.
He's got talent to make plays, but he's smart. He knows where to go. He finds time and space for himself, and he works extremely hard.
The Lightning was scheduled to open the home season Saturday night against the Carolina Hurricanes, but the game was postponed due to the aftermath of Hurricane Milton. The Calgary Flames updated their NHL season opening win streak to 4 games with a 3-1 win over the visiting Chicago Blackhawks on Tuesday. Andrei Kuzmenko's power play goal in the second period snapped a 1-1 stalemate and stood as the winner. Matt Coronato scored twice for the Flames, including an empty netter in the final minute, and Nick Foligno scored for the Blackhawks, who slipped to 1-2-1. In partnership with Hockey Canada and Canadian Blind Hockey, the Blind Hockey League is hosting the Carnegie Cup. Ethan Van Dopp has more on what the tournament means for those attending.
From December 20th to 22nd, hockey players from across the world will travel to Ottawa to participate in the Carnegie Cup, a tournament that provides opportunities for players suffering from vision loss. The tournament is an important opportunity for blind hockey players, according to founder of the Canadian Blind Hockey Association, Mark DeMontis.
This is an opportunity for players to showcase their talents, to debunk misconceptions about what it means to be blind and be a high-performance athlete.
The tournament is part of Hockey Canada and Canadian Blind Hockey's efforts to make the sport more inclusive. The tournament will take place at TD Place in Ottawa during the exhibition round of the 2025 World Juniors Tournament. Ethan Van Dopp, BCIT's The Crow.
The BC Sports Hall of Fame announcement day is here. Reporter Keenan Turgaskis has more on this yearly event.
The BC Sports Hall of Fame is unveiling this year's inductees. Since 1966, the Hall of Fame has inducted over 400 people. This year's class includes 5 different athletes: baseball players Amanda Asai and Justin Morneau, swimmer Ryan Cochran, freestyle skier Cassie Sharp, and golfer Richard Zokol. Also being unveiled are 2 coaches, a sports medicine expert, a Little League team, a women's hockey team from the 1920s, a sports broadcaster, and a former WAC award winner. The event for the annual unveiling begins at 11 a.m. Keenan Trigaskis, BCIT's The Crow.
Davante Adams will likely make his debut for the New York Jets on Sunday night at Pittsburgh. The wide receiver was acquired from Las Vegas on Tuesday, and interim Jets coach Jeff Ulbrich said Wednesday that Adams would participate in the team's walkthrough and should play against the Steelers. Adams missed the Raiders' past 3 games with a hamstring injury that coincided with his request to be traded. He said while making a surprise appearance during quarterback Aaron Rodgers' weekly spot on the Pat McAfee Show on Tuesday that he was expecting to play. The Detroit Lions have decided to extend defensive tackle Alim McNeil's contract, retaining a key player with a long-term deal. Detroit and defensive tackle Alim McNeil agreed to extend his contract by 4 years for $97 million, according to a person with knowledge of the situation. They spoke on the condition they remain anonymous because the terms had not been announced. Detroit plays NFC North leading Minnesota on the road Sunday in what could be a pivotal game in the division race and for playoff positioning. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell said the league is still reviewing the latest claims of sexual assault and battery against Deshaun Watson. The Cleveland Browns quarterback resolved the civil lawsuit filed against him by the woman, but it won't keep him from being disciplined by the league. The league, per their procedure, seek to interview the plaintiff through her lawyer Tony Busby. Those were your sports headlines for 1:45. I'm Filip Kovacevic with BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
So, admittedly, I'm not a sports guy. You probably think that a guy who's not that interested in watching sports shouldn't be doing a sports comment, but everyone has a thought they want to share. I think sports lingo isn't easy for new people to follow, but sports still get new fans. If you want to get into following a sport, you have to start from scratch. I'm learning about sports from my job, and I'm looking at the results of last night's Canucks game, but the lingo and rules confuse a novice like me a lot. For example, I had no idea cross ice feed is the movement of the puck across the width of the ice from one side to another. However, according to a report from the Media Technology Monitor, more than 3/4 of Canadians watch professional sports. I'm Philip Kovacevic, and that was your sports comment for BCIT's The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the lower mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikki-King.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikki-King. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.